despite the fact that they made a grim prediction yesterday. We're now hearing that the search is expected to continue well into next week. Officials and volunteers have been combing the wilderness near the Michigan-Ohio border for any signs of these boys aged 5, 7, and 9. Yesterday, cops charged the boy's father, this man, John Skelton, 3 counts of parental kidnapping. Earlier in the day, they also said they do not expect a positive outcome, as they put it, in this case. Our senior correspondent Rick Leventhal with the news. And Ricky, we understand that that man, John Skelton, was in court today. What happened? He's
being held, Shepard, on $3 million bond after he refused to waive extradition back to Michigan. That means he stays in Ohio. Investigators continuing to fight to get him out of Ohio, where he was treated in a mental facility after those kids went missing, and he apparently tried to hang himself. Skelton entered the Toledo courtroom in a wheelchair covered by a blanket, possibly because of a fractured ankle. He whispered yes or no answers to the judge's questions. He has another court appearance scheduled in 2 weeks yet, but apparently he has not been very cooperative with investigators.
Yeah, not surprising. Police and volunteers say they've been searching for several days now. Have they found anything that they think might be useful for this investigation?
Well, not according to the local police chief, and he actually said that those volunteer searchers can take the weekend off. An army of volunteers fanned out again this morning across southern Michigan and northern Ohio, working grids in fields, woods, farms, alongside highways. The chief says they have found a number of items, but it's all sorts of stuff that's just lying along the roads there, and they're processing it with no luck so far.
All right.
I refuse to believe that at this point. It is my desire to maintain hope, but as I said yesterday, the information we have does not indicate that this is going to have a positive outcome.
And that chief's still asking for help from anyone who might have seen this vehicle. This is Skelton's blue 2000 Dodge Caravan. He was driving it Thanksgiving night or Friday morning. They know he left his house, Shepard, during that time, and they think that the boys were in the van at that time.
Rick Leventhal in our newsroom. Rick, thank you.
Sure.
Elizabeth Smart stormed out of a courtroom today during the trial of the man prosecutors say kidnapped her from her bedroom when she was 14 years old. Elizabeth Smart walked out as a psychiatrist testified that the man on the right here, Brian David Mitchell, attacked her because he wanted to have children and wanted to create a new race. The doctor says he got that from the journals of Brian David Mitchell's estranged wife. The defense is arguing that Brian David Mitchell is not guilty because he's insane. Elizabeth Smart already testified how Mitchell and his wife tied her to a tree. She says he raped her almost every day, often several times a day over 9 months. Prosecutors say Brian David Mitchell knew what he was doing, and they say he showed his ability to lie when he kept Smart captive and away from police. The founder of Wikileaks already has plenty of people after him for releasing the state secrets, but now he has an international group of people trying to find him for a very different reason. Julian Assange, his fight against rape charges. Yes, I saw The Daily Show. That's coming next. And a big day for the actor and convicted tax cheat Wesley Snipes. He just found out whether he'll have to go to prison next week. That's all ahead as Studio B continues in just 90 seconds.
Hello, my name is Marilyn, and I recently lost my husband of 35 years, Billy, to mesothelioma lung cancer. Billy suffered with mesothelioma for 4 years before he lost his battle. Through my experiences as his caregiver, I put together a booklet that contains information about treatment options, pain control, medical care, legal and financial information, as well as some of our family's favorite recipes. For a free copy of this booklet, please call 1-800-875-3000.
Trust me. Trust me. Yeah, I like that. Trust me.
Bankers are known to be a little bit in love with themselves.
Aren't we going up? We can get the next one.
I'd like to get your advice on hedging risk exposure.
What makes us different? For 300 years, we've chosen to focus on our clients. What a novel idea.
You know, some of the animals I love the most are in my own backyard. So it broke our hearts when our dog Tasha had trouble getting around.
You're supposed to jump in with me.
But now, thanks to Cosequin, she's back to her old self.
For dogs, cats, and horses, trust Cosequin, the #1 vet-recommended brand of joint health supplements the Hannahs rely on.
Tasha may not run like a cheetah, but with Cosequin, she's a heck of a lot faster than me.
Available from your veterinarian and fine retailers.
12 minutes past the hour now, and the White House is firing back today over allegations against Secretary of State Hillary Clinton from that Wikileaks founder, Julian Assange. In an online interview with Time magazine, Assange was quoted as saying that Secretary Clinton should step down if somebody can prove she ordered diplomats to spy at the United Nations. But White House Press Secretary Robert Gibbs today called the statements ridiculous and absurd. You'll recall some of those recently leaked State Department documents included instructions to American diplomats to gather sensitive personal information on foreign leaders like DNA and iris scans, even credit card numbers. But State Department officials say those requests came from the intelligence community and did not require U.S. officials to spy. Meantime, Julian Assange's lawyer now claims his client is being persecuted by Swedish authorities after the international police organization Interpol put him on its most wanted list. Prosecutors there in Sweden looking to meet with Assange after 2 women there accused him of sexual molestation and rape. In past interviews, he's called these accusations baseless, and his lawyer now questions the timing of all of this. Of course, in order to talk to Assange, police first have to find the guy. He doesn't have a permanent address that we know of. He often travels from country to country. He's a slippery guy. Joining us now, former prosecutor, Fox News legal analyst Arthur Aidala, we'll call him Birthday Boy for today's purposes, and the criminal defense attorney Randy Zellin, who someday will have a birthday, but it's not today. You
not today.
We focus on Julian Assange, Julian Assange, Julian Assange. When we learn so many things about this war and the way that it's being prosecuted, we learn so much about our friends over there, but all we want to talk about is a leak. Okay, now they want to pick him up for rape or something. Your thoughts?
Well, I mean, how could you argue against that if it's true? America's Most Wanted, what do? They highlight, they figure out the 10 most people they want to grab, and they do these
people they want to grab.
You know, the 10 most wanted people, the 10 people who are the most heinous people. So what do they do here? I would like to use the term, Shep. You live by technology, you live by notoriety, then you're going to die by it. Yep. So this is a case that maybe would have slipped through the cracks, but he's going to be out there and say, hey, here I am, I'm the guy. Well, is anybody going to argue that if he really did commit a rape, he shouldn't be prosecuted for it?
No, certainly not. Randy?
Why are we talking about a rape?
I don't know.
Because
does anybody care?
But yeah, I would think the people, the
First
woman
of all,
who got raped,
happy birthday. Take it down a notch. This is not about a rape case.
His point is well taken. None of this is about rape.
None of this is about a rape case.
We wouldn't be talking about this if it weren't for the fact that he WikiLeaked us.
But we wouldn't be talking about any celebrity case if it wasn't for that person was a celebrity.
But
this guy has now become a celebrity.
Case. This is not a celebrity. Once again, we are showing our ineptitude and how embarrassing our system is. Why don't we be honest and say, you know what, we really want this guy because he's embarrassed us, made us look really bad. Somebody a lot smarter than me about 20 seconds ago said, what have we learned from this guy? We're screwing up in Afghanistan. We ain't winning this war. There's a lot wrong that this country doesn't know about that just found out about.
You're throwing America under the bus,
well,
and it's Sweden that's doing this.
No. We are doing. You don't think we're pulling? We're pulling the strings here? Come on.
I read exactly what the prosecutor in Sweden said. She said they've been looking for him for over a month.
When was the last time you heard about Sweden doing anything?
Look, the bottom line is if you want to escalate things, if you want to be the guy, every celebrity case that you and I step in here and cover, if the person's name wasn't that popular name, we wouldn't be standing here covering
this is not
This guy became a celebrity, so now if someone is saying he raped them, now he's got to pay the price.
It's not a rape case. What this case is about to its core, it's simply this. Investigative journalism was born with the Declaration of Independence. When Thomas Jefferson said, let the world know what Britain is doing. The press is the watchdog for us, so we know what's going on. What this guy has done is gone to the internet and exposed the insanity of what we don't know about. Why don't we start with the people who were saying these moronic things, never thinking that they're going to see the light of day?
They weren't supposed to see the light of day. The problem is somebody allowed them to be stolen. They weren't just stolen. They were put in a position to be stolen.
But Assange didn't steal them. All he did was take them off of the internet. We are talking about enforcing a law that goes back to 1917, where we were worried about code books and sketchbooks. What did this guy do? He didn't give away
He did have to go to a 1918 law to get this.
17.
And Randy, are you telling me?
1918, you know, that's
Are you telling me you've never represented a client in a criminal case where the prosecutors have astutely used a different law to get him? How about a guy named Al Capone? Now, I know you didn't represent him, but what about Al Capone?
Isn't that how? Well, tell me about your representation of Al Capone. It is your birthday.
I'm not watching.
It just ended the last.
Hey, the last time we tried this in 2009, it didn't work out so well. Where we had to walk away from the case because the espionage.
We're not doing it, bro.
Come on, man.
The bottom line isn't the bottom line. They want this guy.
Correct.
And they're pushing Sweden to follow through on a case that they already had. They want him. Yeah. You know what they're worried about now? They're worried now that he's got this hard drive from the Bank of America. I don't know that he has it, but I know in 2009 he said he had what, 5 gigabytes,
the bank's
which
next.
was like 600, I don't know, some hundreds of thousands of pages. I mean, it's one thing to bring down the United States military and our State Department. It's another thing to mess with a big bank. Well, I don't know. I don't know all the facts about it, but he says he's going to put them out, and they don't want that to happen. They don't want any more of this.
And in my opinion, as an American who loves my lifestyle here, they should do everything they can to come down on this guy and stop that from happening.
You're not glad on some level that people realize that President Karzai is seen by many as just, you know, motivated by paranoia, that there was $52 million in a suitcase that his brother had as he was just walking through, where'd that come from, that he let his brother, the heroin dealer, off, that he pardoned a bunch of criminals, that he's not a very good partner in this thing, and that we're expected to turn over security of this nation to that guy and his people, and that was worth $2.5 billion a week, and our young men and women's lives. I think it's probably good that people know that, and I think you agree.
Your response? I think it's very good that the people
this in the right way.
The people who make these decisions should know all this. But Shepard, I have no involvement in what we turn over, what we don't turn over. Yes, I think it's awesome that Secretary Clinton and the President of the United States and all the people
Former Chief of Staff of the Army said yesterday in this position that if people had realized what was going on with the Gulf War when it began, with the Iraq War when it began in 2003, that we were diverting resources from this war, that the nation could not sustain it. And he said yesterday, if the people had known about it back then, that this war might not have gotten to this place. And maybe now, on some level, it's good that we know our partner in this war, Hamid Karzai, is not an actor with whom we ought to be dealing. He's just all we got.
But I would like to think that President Bush and all these people around him knew that, and they made the calculated risk, and these are the people we elected, and they're the ones. Yes, I like to know it
so
from a
you like
personal,
it just head in sand. You don't think the people ought to know anything.
If it compromises our security,
and they're
for me to know, just
they're
so
varying takes on whether.
But what has been compromised? The fact that Gaddafi
all this
the
stuff is
flamenco?
already out there. Yeah, right.